Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Kent Tilley. I'm a CFP and I'm obviously on LinkedIn. I don't do a ton on LinkedIn, but every once in a while I get lucky enough that I get recruited by financial professionals who are generally part of WFG, and they want to recruit me to become a part of their team and become a real business owner. And that's very exciting stuff for me. I get really excited about the prospect of owning my own business under the umbrella of a giant company that takes a whole bunch of money and makes me sell their products and charges their customers an arm and a leg. I absolutely love it. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different today, something kind of fun. It's fun for me anyways, is a few months ago, it was October of 2021, I was recruited by somebody who failed to Google me, not knowing that the number one blog that I've ever written, probably the only one that's ever been read, was titled WFG, the worst financial plan I've ever seen. I'm actually going to do a video on that. It was about 6 years ago, and a girl, I'm sure she was nice, was being trained by her sort of WFG trainer or whatever you want to call it, team leader, I don't know what they call it, and was giving advice to a now client of mine that was absolutely horrendous. She probably didn't know any better, and all of the advice was given to generate commission. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to obviously have Ryan blank out who this person is. But what I do when I start having conversations with these people is to just find out a little bit more about their business and how they operate and what they charge. And I always love the answers that they give me because, you know, it's just ridiculous. And it'll kind of give a little bit of my takes on some of the things from some of the comments. And one thing I will note is that I don't know much about this guy and his team and how far he is, but when they say team, it never actually shows a team if you find their website. It's hard to find who they actually work for because they act as though they're independent financial professionals, but deep down and underneath, they are working for WFG. They do have a team, so to speak, but all that really means is that they have people under them selling products, and then they make a commission on that, and then those people are trying to hire people under them and train them, and it's more about actually building that sort of team that can generate sort of the upward flow of money to the top, rather than actually financial planning advice and giving good advice. So let's get into it here. We'll figure out how to use this silly thing here. So there we go. There we go. Kind of figured it out. All right, so he says, "Hey, Kent, I came across your profile and thought your experience might be a good fit for our team. I'm not sure if you keep your options open, but I would like to take some time to get to know each other better in the event there might be a good fit. Let's connect." I love it. I think it's absolutely incredible to keep my options open. You couldn't pay me enough to not do what I do, so that's not going to happen, but I love it. So I said, hey, I'm curious to know how it could be a benefit for me to join a team. I mean, if you looked at LinkedIn at the time, it was a business that I ran and had, 4 employees. So I'm not sure how that was going to work, but so that was my first question. Well, until I know more about your current role, I could or say for sure I do not know. I do know that having solid relationships with product providers and being able to offer exclusive products might be a value add to your current platform. Thought it might be worth a conversation. Now, this is something that they talk about a lot in that world, is that they have exclusive products or something like that nobody else would sell. All it means is that they are aligned with all of the insurance companies, which have a whole number of different products under all of the different insurance companies. Turns out that I have access to all of these same exclusive products. They're just products from all the different insurance companies. I don't sell the majority of them because I don't think they're anything more than a product. Sometimes some of them come in to fit. So this is my first question. What kind of exclusive products? I always love this. And how would the pay structure work? So we have certain we have certain estate planning tools, insurance products, and investments exclusive to us. As well, many of our products are at better rate/premium than others can offer due to the volume we distribute. It's just sort of a override on what you get paid for selling the product. It's not actually a better rate for the customers. You imagine and we'll get into it early when I ask a few more questions about the money, but this is just because obviously there's more sort of hands in the pot here. So more people are charging more money to sell these products, but they do have good override rates from the insurance companies. It means that if you sell a whole bunch of these products as like a whole huge corporation, then they're going to pay you bigger bonuses on what you sell. But the majority of that money actually goes to WFG and not necessarily the advisor. So here we get compensated 5 ways, including monthly and quarterly for total bonuses, as well as agency overrides, and an opportunity to possibly partake in a reinsurance development in the future, which will be a game changer in our industry. That is on top of the personal production, trails, and renewals. Well, that sounds incredible. I don't know what the game changer is in the industry, but I'm curious, so let's ask what products in particular, what would be my override? Let's say I brought in an investment client on with $1 million. What would they pay? What would be my take? What would you earn? This is very curious to me because if let's just say, for example, we brought on $1 million client, my company, my entire company would make $6,000 a year before paying anybody out. So I'm very curious to see what he says here. So this is what blew my mind. Depending on your contract level, a $1 million investment client would pay you about $30,000 plus bonuses, and your trials, which means trails, on that one client would be about $5,000 per year. As an agency owner, I would get a generational override of at least $3,600 with as much as $17,000 depending on your contract level, plus bonuses. Not bad for putting in the energy up front to train and apprentice a person, and then when they are independent, earning that passive income. And this passive income garbage that comes through all the time in today's vernacular is like everybody can earn passive income. Sure, that's fantastic. Passive income is great, but you actually have to put work in to earn passive income. These people should still have a job. I'm adding this up here, so $30,000 plus $5,000 per year, which would probably be generated that year as well, plus the 17, so that's 47 plus 5, 52, plus 3,600, so $55,600 from one client with $1 million. That's 5.6%. That's fucking insanity. It's bullshit. $56,000 being paid to somebody, and a company to sell you a product, not including the profit that that corporation makes, because he isn't the corporation, which is absolute garbage. And that's why you should never buy anything from somebody that's trying to sell you something that can generate that kind of absolutely insane commission. Drives me up the fucking wall that anybody could ever sell something like that and feel like they deserve any kind of money in that realm. And that's why this business is absolutely ridiculous, is because that's what people are making, and then they're justifying it because they got good returns last year. Well, it doesn't matter, because that's the market that gets the returns. And when I saw those numbers, I was just floored. I think that is absolute BS, and I know exactly what they're selling, so that's when I'm going to start talking about it. You used to be able to make money maybe similar to that back in the day when you sold mutual funds with DSC attached to them, because what happens with DSC is you said, okay, I know that you've invested $1 million, and let's say that our annual fee is 2.5%, but we also know that you're going to have that $1 million in an account for 7 years. So we're going to give the salesperson an upfront commission that's more than we make. And over those 7 years, it's sort of going to equal itself out. But as of, a few years ago, we're no longer allowed to sell DSC funds in this country because they're garbage. They tie people into things. There's a whole bunch of things that go wrong. People won't tell their clients that, there is this DSC aspect to it. And then they're like, can I get my money out? And they're like, sure, if you want to pay $50,000 in penalty fees to get it out. Absolutely, you can. But can you imagine, do you think you've worked that hard for that $1 million, saved it up over all these years, and then somebody can come along and they can charge you, $57,000 in fees for signing a piece of paper and selling you an investment that charges, 3 times as much as you should be paying? Absolutely not, but they're still getting away with it every single day. It drives me crazy. So now, says, I assume you're only selling segregated funds in that case. Are you no longer associated with WFG? And I knew it was segregated funds because basically they're the insurance product, sort of equivalent of a mutual fund. They don't have the same regulations as mutual funds. The insurance industry is different. So that's why they could still have those DSCs attached to them. However, the good timing for this video is that what has happened in recent months is that they're no longer going to be able to sell them like this, which is great. Finally, they're kind of cracking down on the insurance industry. So segregated funds come with these guarantees. Like you say, okay, what they'll say is, okay, you're going to put $1 million in, there's absolutely zero chance that you won't get 75% of this money back after, 15 years, or if you die within, a year of this, you're going to get at least $750,000. Now, there is sort of one place for segregated funds, which kind of makes some sense in some cases for business owners, if you can sort of accept the additional cost. It's not over the guarantee, but over sort of the tax advantages of using it this way. But there is never any reason to own an insurance policy inside of, say, where most people have their wealth, which is in an RSP or a TFSA, that says, well, we can just assign a direct beneficiary of this account and it will avoid taxes. Well, that's not true, because you can assign a direct beneficiary for a TFSA or an RSP anyway, and they're going to be taxed whether or not it's in an insurance product coming out of an RSP. So that's actually just false advertising. And I know that I don't even think most people know any better when they say that. It's just kind of lip service that sounds real good. So this is where he says, I'm an independent broker with WFG. We can do mutual funds, but they don't provide the benefits that most people want. And the MERs are coming down and in many cases are the same as mutual funds. Well, that's just not true. The mutual fund versions of the segregated funds cost less and are going to perform a little bit better. The insurance products just cost more. It's an additional sort of cost for the guarantee that they put on it. So that's absolutely not true. The main reasoning behind him saying that is because he can earn that sort of enhanced, ultra crazy commission for selling this, and he wouldn't earn nearly the same amount for selling the equivalent mutual fund. Okay, so now so how would this training and apprenticeship work? What would be most useful for me? And this is my favorite answer of all. Leveraging the business system to build a sustainable business that builds other leaders who you leverage and they leverage you to create passive income and bonuses regardless of your involvement. What? Like, what the hell does that mean? Leveraging the business system. Basically, I'm just bringing somebody in. I'm not being involved in their growth or training or whatsoever or anything like that. And leveraging something or other to create passive income. Well, I don't even know what that means, but I'm not sure how that would help me because I don't really get that, but I like the words. It sounds pretty neat. So I just said, that sounds confusing. And then he says, it's not as confusing in person. It's hard to relay everything over a message. So I said, so you'd prefer to meet and explain to me. This is where I'm really trying to get more information out of this guy. I really wanted to meet this guy and see what he had to say and get more information about this leveraging aspect of the business. IMI, Edmonton. So if you're in the area, we could meet or we could do it over Zoom. This is when I said Zoom is easy, and this must have been the point in time where he maybe Googled my company or me or something like that and was like, oh, this guy's just effing with me here. But I hope that's a lesson for you that, that's what's going on a lot of times out there is people are selling you shit just so they can make a lot of money. A lot of the things that are out there are kind of the same. I have access to sell every single segregated fund that he does. I've never sold one. And I would be a multimillionaire if I did. And I'm not, because it's not right, except for in very select cases. And if you're going out there and selling that to everybody or selling permanent insurance to everybody, and that is your training, then that is a bad thing. And that's the thing that I can't stand about this business is that, every year we're supposed to get continuing education credits to keep our credentials up. And when I worked at a big company, we earned all of our CE credits by going through sales training with product pushers. It wasn't about planning. It was like, how can you, leverage this product into your practice and sell more of it? It had nothing to do with the planning process. And that's why I think it's so important to find yourself a financial planner. If you're going to work with them on a fee-based model, that's fine. I still think it has a place in this business. It's how I run the majority of my practice, even though we offer fee-for-service planning as well. I think it has a place. It's just know, what your guy or girl is making if they're offering a certain product, know what the management team is making, know what the full cost to you is, understand that and say, you know, what are you doing to justify this cost? Because even in my case, I mean, sometimes I'm way overcompensated for the things that I do, and sometimes I'm way undercompensated. And it's something that I think about on a daily basis is, you know, what's the perfect model and what's the perfect fit? And I don't have that answer, but I definitely know that this isn't it. So just something to keep in mind. Find someone that you trust, find someone that you can ask these hard questions to, and they don't sort of skirt that past you, because I know in the recent months, both Chad and I have had conversations with clients who are now clients who have had a lot of money at different institutions. And when we said, you know, find out what you're paying by asking these questions, and took about 4 meetings before they really came out and said, yes, that's actually true. That is what you're paying. When it should have been just as easy as like, how much am I paying? What are my total fees? And then you can, you know, proudly say, or whatever, say, this is how much you're paying. This is how much I get. This is how much my company gets. This is how much the fund gets. Take it or leave it. It doesn't necessarily always mean that paying less is going to win. I mean, I wish that it did. Then it would be super easy, but it does give you an advantage, obviously, by paying less to have similar investments. I mean, you've got less money going to different corporations. But the thing for me that's the worst is, why are you working with somebody that isn't upfront and honest about that in the first place? And I think that's the biggest concern that I have with it, for sure. So it turned into a little bit of a rant. However, you know, I hope you learned something. I every time I have one of these conversations, I always have fun with them. I know that when I post this video, I'm going to get a lot of hate from the WFG world, but guess what? Bring it. I really don't care. I could care less. Keep slanging products that are bad for your consumers. That's great. Keep building your pyramid. That's absolutely fantastic. If you're one of the good ones out there at WFG that's actually trying to help your clients, good for you. But the majority of people out there don't know what they're in for when they get into it. Becomes a sales competition, and that's it. And that's all it is. And you're not putting your clients first in that case. And I'll have a problem with that for the rest of my life. So bring it on all you want. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Hope you subscribe, and have a great night. Bye.